Do you interact with your leadership often as part of your job? Do you feel you need to go to your manager about a concern or a problem, either with your tasking or somebody else? Well, here are 3 tips to ensure that your interaction with leadership, dealing with management, maybe executive management, is successful and you get the outcome that you want. Now, number 1 question to ask yourself, who is really in charge? If you have a concern, if there's a problem, it might not be the manager who is in charge. I was on some programs where it was really the senior engineer who pretty much set the pace of the program, dealt with the issues, and if there was a problem, management would go to him to get answers. So if you ask this question and it's not your manager, see if you can bring your concern respectfully to the person who actually is in charge and can have influence. A lot of times, my manager's been a listening ear and I've appreciated sharing, but the message is that it just wasn't in his lane. I had to find another venue. So that. Now the good news there is that if you can be friends with who's really in charge, then they can help you out. In fact, I was able to switch departments in a situation where I just got jammed up, and the person who was my project lead, who basically was the one in charge, had then become a manager and was able to help me transition into a different group. So, who's really in charge? That's number 1. Number 2 is knowing when to elevate. There are a bazillion things going wrong in a large program at any given time. No one wants to hear me or you complain about, okay, this is wrong and that's underfunded and we need a replacement for so-and-so. Okay, that's just going on and on. Occasionally, I had a friend who did this, actually. Occasionally, it's good to just vent, but let the manager know. A friend of mine just went into a very seasoned manager's office and says, Bill, I need to vent for 2 minutes. Okay, Dan. That was Dan. Dan, you got 2 minutes. So Dan went off, is this and that. And I'm tired of people not doing their job. And then 2 minutes was up. Dan very wisely said, okay, Bill, I appreciate you letting me vent. Okay, Dan, was there anything else? Nope, I'm good. It was it. It was all over in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So occasionally that's helpful. But otherwise, know when to elevate. Now, if there's anything that's a criminal activity, sexual harassment, something that's a violation of corporate policy, that's a yes. That needs to elevate. But sometimes, if you're just not getting along with someone or someone else is being stubborn, look at some of these other tips that I have out there. Go to influence. Look up neurolinguistic programming. Build rapport, and use those skills to see if you can solve it at your level. Because if you can solve it at your level, your success is just going to be increased. The last thing you want to do is elevate a lot of problems to management where the manager is like, gosh, can't Raymond just solve this on his own? I'm paying him big money. They really only want to hear the problems that are at their level and they can solve. Now, this can also go both ways. There were times when I was having a situation that was really a lot of conflict with some other people, and I was faced with some choices that I didn't understand how the database worked, but I was hesitant to elevate because I wanted to look like I knew what I was doing. Okay, well, that you want to avoid. There are times when, if you're not sure and it could have a large impact, just sound check with your manager or your project lead or who's really in charge, and be sure. Especially if you're new to a group, they're going to give you some leeway on asking questions. So this one takes some experience. We don't elevate, small stuff, but if you're unsure and it could have an impact, it's good to get a second opinion sometimes, and you can avoid some hassle. And every once in a while, the problem you're facing might not be at your level to solve. It might be something a manager or a senior lead needs to handle. So, and finally, if I do go into my management, I go to someone with a problem and that I somehow can't solve, I want to go in with 2 solutions. And I got this from a mentor of mine, Stephen Seri. Actually, he's out at stevenseri.com. He always had his direct reports have 2 solutions to a problem. And then he could ask, okay, well, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? What about this 3rd solution maybe? And that at least shows that we've done our due diligence. We've thought about the problem. We've tried to figure it out on our own, and we just need the manager's advice on which way to go, instead of just need the manager's help to, get us out of some quicksand. So again, this takes discernment. You'll get better with practice, but just if you need to interact with leadership outside of a normal review schedule, think of who's really in charge, know when to elevate and when not to. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. This one will come with practice. And then if you do go into your leader's office, have a few solutions there, at least two. If you could have three, that's even better. And just have it be a conversation of, hey, ma'am, I can use your advice on this situation, and then she can help you. So, message me below if you like this tip. Reach out if you have some opinions about it. I'd love to hear them. And I will see you in the next one.